Hi, I'm Lauren. Welcome back to my craft room. Today I'm sharing a video that I originally released over on the Whimsy Stamps channel a few weeks ago. It is this Yeti to Party slimline card where I made the background myself using their cubed die set. I hope you enjoy this tutorial and have a wonderful day. Hi, it's Lauren and welcome back to the Whimsy Stamps YouTube channel. Today I am sharing with you how I made my own background using the brand new cube die set from Whimsy as well as the cute new Yeti to Party stamp set. I've cut out the largest die out of different colors of the rainbow just using some scraps from my stash, so I have all colors here. I have cut a piece of white cardstock that will fit my slimline card, so it is 3.5 by 8.5, and I'm applying glue to the center color, which will be green, and I'm using my T ruler just to kind of help put it somewhat in the middle. It doesn't end up being perfect, but that's okay. I just want to make sure it's in the middle, and then I'm going to build up the rest of my colors around it. So I'm offsetting the die so that they fit together just like a puzzle piece. So next to the green I have the teal, and then I'll keep going till I'm done all the way to purple on the right. And then I will go from yellow, orange, and red on the left until all of these pieces are adhered to this white cardstock. And once I have that all in place and my glue is dry, I'm just going to use some scissors and trim off the excess so it's a little easier to work with. To trim down this background piece and to add some fun and interest, I am going to use the largest die from the Slimline Fancy Frame die set. I love that it has a little bit of cloud and fun edge look to it. I've cut my card base out of some craft cardstock to 8.5 by 7 and scored it at 3.5 to create an 8.5 by 3.5 size card base. I'm applying some fun foam behind my background piece and using some wet glue to adhere that to my card base. So now I have my DIY'd background. I'm going to work on what I'm going to put on the front of it. I have stamped this adorable Yeti with the presents behind his back out of some black ink that is alcohol marker friendly, and I am going to color it in using my Spectrum Noir Illustrator markers. I start with his fur, so I'm using a light gray and then bringing in a little bit of a darker gray to add shadow and depth to his fur. So I go between the colors BGR1 and BGR3. And I'm going to do that all around his fur, and then I'm going to bring back BG1 to bring up more of that gray and blend those two grays together. I do notice that his beard looks very white, so I'm going to make large flicks or swiping motions with my marker just to give his beard a lot more dimension and look fuller and not just big white open space. For his face and feet, I'm starting with TN3 as my lighter color. I'm applying it in those areas first, just covering up all of the white, and then bringing in EB2 as my shadow and adding that color anywhere where I think it would be darker, so like under his fur or on the bottom of the toes where he would be standing, just to give it some depth and dimension. For the horns, I am using EB2 and EB3. I wanted them to just be a little bit darker than the face, but still in that same color family. Now that my grays are dry, I'm bringing back in that darker gray, and I'm just adding some spots as like little freckles to my images. It's something that I like to do. And then I colored his little toenails an off-white color of FS6, which is kind of a cream color. And then I'm going to go back with the dark brown and add my spots for that. So for my presents, I wanted to match the cubed die cuts I have on my background. So I'm just going to bring out some BTs, which are kind of a bluishy teal color. And then I am using GY1 for the yellow bow. For my purple package, I am using the PVs, alternating between PV3 and 4. For that present, it will have a red bow. So after I'm done coloring in my yellow bow, I will use DR2 and DR3 to color in that bow. My final present will be blue and green. I'm going to be using TB4 and TB1 to color my present bow, and then the present wrapping paper will be green, and I used AG3 and LG3 to color that in. Once all of my ink is dry, I'm going to bring back in the darker of all the different colors that I used, the darker shade marker, and I'm going to add those freckles just like I did on my Yeti's fur and his face and feet and horns, just to add a little bit of interest. And then I will also bring out my white gel pen and add some highlights. I will add it in different areas where I think light would shine on the presents and on the Yeti, and just to add a little bit more brightness back to the image. Now that he's all done being colored, I am just going to fussy cut him out, and then we will start layering him onto the card. But before I do that, I really liked the sentiment in the stamp set called Yeti to Party, but I thought with such a big bold background and this big Yeti, that sentiment would get lost. So I used the bold ABCs to cut out the Yeti to Party sentiment out of some black cardstock. I'm layering it down on my card approximately where I want it to go, and then I'm going to use some wet glue and glue all of these letters down. I probably should have used my T-ruler to help make sure everything was straight, but he's Yeti to Party and doesn't care if his letters are a little bit wonky. I have some more fun foam in my stash from a die cut circle, so luckily he fit right on top of that. So I glued down the fun foam, and then I'm putting a little bit more pieces on his feet to help just stabilize the image a little more. And then I'm going to use some wet glue to glue that down. Before I finish him up, I want to add some fun sequins. I have these iridescent flat sequins in my stash, and I am just using my jewel picker to put them in various spots and using some wet glue to adhere those down. Once I'm happy with the amount of sequins on my card, I think we are done. I think this card turned out really well. I like that I made my own rainbow background with my cute Yeti. Here is a final look of the slimline card again. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you tried this out yourself. Below you can find all the supplies I used to make this card. I hope you'll hit like if you enjoyed this content and subscribe if you're new. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.